Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back, loyal viewers. I'm Kerry, the nosy housefrau, and today I'll be sticking my nose in on the piping hot tea that is the drama between Trisha Paytas and Anthony Padilla. Buckle up. Okay, so we're back filming in the guest room, aka quarantine. It turns out approximately 14 days ago, I was in urgent care with a bunch of people coughing and sneezing, and it was kind of near Chrysler, which is kind of where people have been exposed to the coronavirus. So I am quarantining myself for myself and the safety of other people as well. Don't worry, I got lots of toilet paper. I'm going to be fine. And I'm glad you guys have been asking for more content because this is the only contact we can all have anyway. So I'm going to be filming every day. This is the future. Leave the food and go. Do not look upon me. Okay, so this Trisha thing unraveled quickly. Had to take notes again, had to do some homework because there's a lot that happened in just the span of 2 days. A couple of days ago on Twitter, I saw people were talking all abuzz about Trisha Paytas doing a video called Meet My Alters. And when I saw that, my initial feeling was she saw something. She saw something somewhere because Trisha, putting aside trolling, I know I'll get people who go, come on, she's trolling, she's trolling, she's trolling. This is where her bread is buttered, she's trolling. I believe the answer's somewhere in the middle on that one, but let's go with that. She's serious. So Trisha starts going into her alter personalities, but she does start out as saying that she hasn't been diagnosed. She says the closest she's come is self-diagnosis. So in other words, as far away from being diagnosed as you can get. And she starts talking about multiple personality disorder versus DID, even though they're the same thing. And it's such a cringe fest because I know she's getting a lot wrong. And I actually didn't even know at this time that there was a DID community of sorts. I'm going to link Chloe below. That's the one that Trisha brought up. She said she was watching her channel and that she noticed the girl was crazy. She brings it on herself. It wasn't long before I found out where Trisha's revelation came from. A user by the name of Anthony Padilla put out a video about a week ago where he spent the day with people who have DID. Dissociative identity disorder is the actual term, and I will put links below. I think this is where Trisha got the idea to absorb this idea like a sponge. And he obviously got wind of Trisha's video because he put this on Instagram.
Because when I watch other people talk about it, I'm like, they're crazy. Like, I watched the Anthony Padilla one, and there's a girl, DissociaDID or something, I think his name, she's British, and like, I watched it and I was like, oh, like, she seems crazy. I watched the Anthony Padilla one, and there's a girl, DissociaDID or something, I think his name, she's British, and like, I watched it and I was like, oh, like, she seems crazy, but I know that's like
that last clip was with the picture-in-a-picture. That was DissociaDID herself, Chloe, reacting to Trisha's video where she calls her crazy. It's already problematic whether it's trolling or not, because now Trisha has made this video, Meet My Alters, that is filled with misinformation and reaching millions of people, so you could see why people who have been advocating for years and trying to dispel myths surrounding DID and the misunderstandings about it are frustrated that more misinformation is coming out by somebody claiming to self-diagnose with their disorder. Instead of reflecting and saying, I've angered a lot of people with my ignorance. I do see now that there's a misinformation and maybe I should see a professional to get diagnosed. Trisha doubled down. She not only doubled down, she had a very angry rant in a video today called Dear Anthony Padilla, where she talks about how she used to love him, which I believe because I think she saw his video a week ago, and how now she's just livid and how dare he. She strawmans him. She starts saying, well, maybe I'll tell you, you look fine and you don't have anything wrong with you. He never said that. She's like, I'm not mocking DID. But what I think she failed to understand is he's not saying she's going, ha ha, you have this. She's making a mockery of a very real illness by spreading misinformation. So she was so irate and so indignant in her video that she went off about how he doesn't know what it's like to be her. And then she starts strawmanning even her audience, saying people are always saying, you know, which Trisha is it today? And then when I come clean about all this stuff, you come at me. But she's misrepresenting everyone's position. People aren't saying there's nothing wrong with Trisha. They're saying that she's getting her self-diagnosis wrong. Self-diagnosis is a term you shouldn't even be in the conversation. See a professional. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of Trisha's audience gets something that she is completely ignoring. There are other possibilities here. There is a difference between dissociative identity disorder and an identity crisis. For years, when I've been saying that Trisha tries on personalities like shoes, I'm not suggesting that she has a dissociative identity disorder. I'm saying she may be in a moratorium. She may not know who she is. There are different things that mimic other disorders. And she needs to seek professional help, because I do think she has something wrong with her. And that's kind of part of why all of this is happening to her, because it is a symptom of her real illness. And I'm not diagnosing Trisha by any means. It bothers me that Trisha talked about Chloe and said, just because she has this doesn't mean she's the king of all know-it-all. That is a weird thing to say, but I know what she means. And it's funny because I watched Chloe's video, and one of the first things she said is, I'm not diagnosing Trisha. It's none of my business. So Trisha's actually accusing her of saying, I have it, you don't, when that is the complete opposite of what she has asserted. She's not even getting that right. This is key. In the middle of her rant, where she is fuming, in her video, Dear Anthony Padilla, at the 2:40 mark, and I will link this video below if you want to see this part of the rant. She's going off and she's like, I never had an identity develop in my, I've been diagnosed with this. I've gone to things. Why did she blurt that out? What have you been diagnosed with? I've gone to things too. What things have you gone to that support your argument? That was a weird assertion. And I feel like when she's on this kind of a rant, she's blurting out half-truths and flat-out lies to get the upper hand. She's acting like it's this huge affront to her person that people would call her on a self-diagnosis of DID. This is a woman who has filmed almost every day of her life for the last 10 years, and never at any point has she had separate identities with separate memories or any sign of amnesia, any sign of not remembering one of her other lives. Because Trisha's defensiveness seems so ridiculous, I must concede that there is a possibility that she turns off that camera and she laughs her head off. Very recently, she got together with Nikocado Avocado, and ever since then, the two of them have stepped up their videos a notch when it comes to ranting and being emotional, and this could be that she is defensive like a fox. In Trisha's defense of what she claims is her DID, she says other people can corroborate that, and her exes and whomever can say that she switches like that. But that doesn't mean that she switches into somebody else. Everybody has different aspects to their personality, and there are a lot of disorders in which a person can have such a mood swing that they become someone else. In fact, we've all heard somebody say, it's like he becomes somebody else, or it's like she becomes somebody else. But that doesn't mean that they literally believe that you have become somebody else. It means that that aspect of your personality has come out and your mood has changed drastically. One of the things that Trisha complained about in her video was that Anthony advocates for mental health, and he said it was a safe place, and he said be open to people saying what they want. And I think when she saw that the first time, it made her think that anything she said would be accepted. And that's why it bothered her when she wasn't able to just self-diagnose and not get any backlash. I think she thought it was going to be a warm, welcoming place and that she'd get away with it. On the one hand, I want to urge people to not be unkind to Trisha, because I believe that everyone being mad at her has to do with the fact that she really does have a problem, and that should garner some sympathy, even if she's unaware of specifically what it is. And yet, when she says things like Split is just a movie and perpetuates the myth and spreads misinformation, I have to come back to the conclusion that it's just not my place to say people shouldn't be frustrated with her. Split is just a movie. And it wouldn't be so bad if there wasn't already so much misinformation about DID. Every time you've ever seen this disorder in a movie, it was somebody who is dangerous. It was somebody who could snap at any moment, and you better not run into the wrong personality. I think one of the reasons for that, I suspect it's because people don't like the unknown. They don't like the idea that somebody could be something they can't predict or expect. And it's funny because we think we know everybody. Sometimes people will ask me, what was this celebrity like, or what was that celebrity like that you met? And I'll say, I don't know. I only spent 3 months with them. My experience was good. But remember, none of us are the same way all the time. Well, I think this is a great conversation that started. I think it's excellent food for thought, and I look forward to your input as always. The obvious thing is going to be trolling or not trolling, so let me know what you think there. Do you think Trisha was inappropriate? Do you think I was too hard on Trisha? And we'll continue this conversation in the comments, which is my favorite part about the whole experience. A lot of you should be vlogging instead of me, frankly. If you've listened this far, I so appreciate you. And if you are new here, please do consider subscribing and hitting that useless notification bell. Until tomorrow, everyone, Hausfrau out.